Hello zusammen, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, or if not, welcome again. My name is Diana and I make videos all about my life here in Germany. As an expat, I talk about the German culture, my experiences in Germany, and I love sharing that with you guys. So if that's something that you're into, definitely make sure to hit subscribe down below because I do post new videos every single week. But let's go ahead and get started with today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about some companies that you probably didn't know were German. I know that I was very surprised about some of these companies that I'm about to talk about. I just had no idea that they were from Germany. A lot of these companies I thought were from the States or from other parts of the world, and I was very, very surprised. So I actually want to play a little game with you guys. I'm going to be mentioning 7 companies. So I want to see how many you guys actually knew from this list. So let me know in the comments below, and it would be cool to see how many of you already knew this information, or maybe I was just completely clueless and had no idea. So yeah, let's play that game in the comments. Now I'm not going to be talking about the obvious ones. I think a lot of us already know that Germany makes a lot of cars and they're known for their automobile industry and producing cars such as Mercedes and Volkswagen. So I'm not going to be talking about that. These are other companies that I found a bit more surprising that I think a lot of you will also find surprising. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is Birkenstocks. You know those orthopedic looking shoes? Yeah, those were made in Germany and I had no idea, but now that I think about it, you know, I don't know why I didn't know this because they do seem like a very, practical German shoe. So I shouldn't be surprised about this one. But this company was actually started way, way back in the day in 1774. So it's a really old school company. It's been around for a while. And the most interesting fact that I found out about this company was that it was actually initially sold in health food stores in the US in the 1960s because this German woman went over to New York and she was wearing Birkenstocks and she decided to bring them to the US market. And when she went to like the mainstream shoe stores, they said that women in the US would just not purchase this kind of shoe because it was too bulky and not very attractive or very good looking shoe. So the only way that she was actually able to sell them was at health food stores in the 1960s. And they became really popular during that time. And then they kind of died out around the 80s and then just sort of came back and started becoming way more popular in the 90s. And of course the 2000s, I see a ton of people wearing them nowadays. So it's kind of cool to see that that company has survived a lot of centuries and decades. It's really crazy to think about. So another company that is also German that you probably don't really think about as being a German company is DHL, the carrier company or delivery service company. Now, this company wasn't originally German, but it has become German since 2002. It was originally founded in San Francisco, but then was bought over or became a subsidiary of Deutsche Post in 2002. So it hasn't always had its roots in Germany, but it is now German owned. And one of the interesting things that I found out about this one is what DHL actually stands for. And I'm gonna read it out loud because I didn't think that this is what it stood for at all. So it actually stands for Dalsey Himblum Lynn, so DHL, which are the names of the original founders who started the company back in San Francisco. I always thought it stood for something like delivery, handling, I don't know, life. Delivery and handling life. That's what I thought it stood for. So this is a company that I actually thought my whole life was an Italian owned, Italian designer, and it is Hugo Boss. This was actually started by this man right here, Hugo Boss himself, and he is a German man. So yeah, I had no idea about this one, and as I was reading into the company a bit more, one of the most interesting and controversial facts about Hugo Boss as a company is that Hugo Boss himself actually designed the uniforms for the Nazis in World War II, which is totally crazy. I'll put a picture up of what the uniforms look like. And actually after the war, he was tried and his rights to operate and own a business were removed, as well as his rights to vote were removed for his involvement during the war and of course supporting Hitler during that time. So really crazy history, and this was very, very interesting to learn about. So this company I could have sworn was American. This one shocked me as well, and it is T-Mobile, but it is actually a subsidiary of the telecommunications company in Germany, which is Telecom. And this is a very huge telecommunication company across Germany. And I had no idea, again, that it was German. I always was under the impression that it was a US based company, because I remember back in the day in the early 2000s, all of the American celebrities had the T-Mobile sidekicks. And I remember Paris Hilton had one in The Simple Life, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I really, really wanted one. Let me know if you guys remember these phones too. They were like with the little flip screen, and everybody just looked so cool typing in them. And that one was a T-Mobile phone. So yeah, I just always thought that it was American. But yeah, let me know if you remember these phones, and if you ever had one. I am very, very jealous, because that was my dream to have one of those phones back in the day. So some of you probably already knew about this one, and it is the company Bayer, or Buyer as I believe the Germans call it. And it is that huge multi-million-dollar pharmaceutical company that is responsible for making things such as Alka-Seltzer and aspirin. One of the interesting facts that I was reading about is that they are actually responsible for synthesizing diamorphine, aka heroin, which is very, very crazy. But you know, don't judge them for that, because they also did make something very awesome that was a big part of my childhood, which are the Flintstones vitamins. Again, let me know if you guys also like those. Mine were always full, because I never wanted to take my vitamins, and I would only pick out the purple ones because they were the grape flavor. So yeah, that was definitely my favorite one. And last but not least, I gotta talk about these ones. I was very, very shocked to learn that these were German companies, because I could have sworn 120% that these were American companies, and it is Adidas and Puma. I had absolutely no idea that they were German owned, German founded companies. And yes, in Europe it's said Adidas, so that's how I've gotten used to saying it. But of course in North America everybody says Adidas. So one of the interesting facts that I found out about this is that Adidas was actually started by two brothers, and they just couldn't come to an agreement on how they wanted to run things. So they actually split off, and one of the brothers, as a rivalry or revenge, decided to make Puma instead. So I think that's really cool, just to hear how those two companies were created. And it's awesome. I love both of those companies, and it's so cool that they are German. And now when I rock it, I'm like, yes, supporting the German economy. Gotta represent. But yeah, that is the two last ones. So of course, let me know down below what your score was out of 7. Did you get a 7 out of 7? Were you surprised by any of these ones? Let me know down below. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it entertaining and learned something new. But I just want to say thank you again for all of you who keep sticking around, who have subscribed. You guys are amazing. And I will see you guys all in my next one. Tschüss!